Right now, a message is reaching you, one that cannot be ignored. Something profound stirs beneath the surface of your daily life, subtle yet insistent, a call to awaken. God's voice moves quietly, often through moments we overlook, through whispers of intuition, through pauses that feel heavier than usual. This is not coincidence. This is urgency. In this video, we will explore how divine guidance often appears as a wake-up call, urging you to step beyond distraction and tune deeply into the present moment. You will learn why the ordinary rhythm of life can blind us to these subtle signals and how awareness, sharp, clear, and disciplined becomes a tool of transformation. Shaolin masters have long understood this. In their practice, awareness is not just a mental skill, it is the foundation of mastery. Every breath, every step, every motion carries a lesson if observed fully. Even the smallest gesture of mindfulness can reveal patterns in life that were hidden before. Through this lens, the urgency of God's message takes shape, not as fear, but as opportunity. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to recognize these moments, how to respond with clarity, and how to cultivate a presence that allows divine insight to guide your choices. Lesser-known events in history and hidden wisdom from Shaolin teachings will show you that the path to inner mastery has always been grounded in stillness and observation. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets conscious living. Subscribe now and join this journey of awareness, discipline, and awakening. Every second you stay present is a step closer to your higher self. The message is here. The time to listen is now. There's a silence that speaks louder than any voice, a stillness that carries the weight of unseen truths. In the quiet, the mind unclutters itself, and the subtle guidance of the divine begins to emerge, not as a roar, but as a gentle nudge, a direction that aligns with the deepest rhythm of your being. Most of life moves in noise, in distraction, in endless motion, and yet the answers we seek are found not in the rush, but in the pause. Shaolin masters have long taught that true clarity arises in meditation, where every breath becomes a mirror of awareness. In sitting quietly, the mind learns to observe without judgment, to watch the currents of thought without being swept away. In this space, priorities reveal themselves. The trivial falls away, and what truly matters rises into view. Even the simplest decisions, when considered in stillness, carry the weight of wisdom rather than impulse. Action without stillness is like striking, without aim, swinging blindly in the dark. Impulsive movements scatter energy and create misalignment, leading to results that may appear immediate but lack depth and lasting impact. Only through stillness can one discern where energy should flow, where effort will bear fruit, and where restraint is itself the greatest form of action. In the quiet, the body and mind synchronize, tension melts, and the heart recognizes what the mind alone cannot grasp. There is a rhythm to life that speaks only when the world slows down, when attention sharpens, and when the soul listens. In every moment of stillness, you create space for guidance to enter, for clarity to settle, and for the path forward to appear as naturally as sunlight through the leaves. The power of stillness is not absence, it is presence, full and deep. A living force that teaches patience, precision, and profound understanding. True strength emerges when every part of oneself moves in harmony. When body, mind, and spirit are aligned, action flows effortlessly like water tracing the path of least resistance. Yet, when they fall out of sync, even the simplest effort meets unseen friction, obstacles that arise not from the world, but from within. This is the heart of inner alignment, a principle that Shaolin masters have carried through centuries of disciplined practice. To align with the higher self is to act from a place of clarity and purpose. Every choice, every step becomes a reflection of one's deepest truth rather than a reaction to circumstance. The mind may plan, the body may move, but without the spirit guiding them, actions feel hollow, incomplete. Life itself tests this alignment, presenting situations that reveal dissonance, showing where intention and behavior no longer resonate. These moments are not punishment, they are lessons, invitations to return to the center. Integrity is the bridge that connects insight with reality. It is the quiet, often unseen thread that holds together thoughts, intentions, and deeds. When integrity is present, decisions honor both the inner truth and the outer world, creating a path that feels natural yet profound. Without it, even the noblest insight fails to manifest, becoming mere theory. Ancient Shaolin teachings show that mastery is not only in motion but in the consistency of being. Every act performed in alignment strengthens the body, sharpens the mind, and deepens the spirit. Discipline is the companion of integrity, guiding repeated practice until alignment becomes instinct, and instinct becomes wisdom. In the stillness of reflection, one recognizes the patterns where alignment falters. Awareness of these gaps is the first step toward mastery. Each deliberate choice to honor inner truth strengthens the connection between self and action, transforming ordinary life into a continuous practice of harmony, presence, and profound purpose. Discipline is the quiet force that turns insight into action. A divine message may arrive as a whisper, subtle yet insistent, but without a disciplined response, its guidance slips through the cracks of everyday life. True awakening is not found in fleeting thought or casual reflection. It emerges through deliberate, sustained practice, where each choice and each action is shaped by intention. Small, consistent practices are the building blocks of spiritual strength. A single breath held in awareness, a moment of stillness observed daily, a repeated act of honesty or kindness, these seem insignificant alone, yet over time they forge a mind and spirit capable of perceiving and responding to higher truths. The universe tests patience, not through grand events alone, but through the accumulation of these small disciplined acts. Shaolin masters understood this intimately. Training begins with repetition, a stance held, a strike practiced, a motion perfected over countless cycles. Mastery is not instantaneous. It is earned through focus, persistence, and attention to detail. The same principle applies to inner life. Discipline shapes character, sharpens perception, and strengthens the will, allowing subtle messages to be heard and followed with clarity. Without discipline, even the most profound insights remain dormant. The mind wanders, energy dissipates, and the connection to higher guidance weakens. With discipline, every action resonates with purpose. Every decision aligns with inner truth, and the path forward becomes visible through practice rather than wishful thinking. Over time, discipline transforms the ordinary into the sacred. It is the steady rhythm of effort, repeated and refined, that cultivates resilience, focus, and the ability to act when the moment calls. In this quiet persistence, spiritual strength grows, and the wisdom embedded in divine messages finds its way into life, not as theory, but as living practice. There are messages hidden in the quiet spaces between events, in moments that pass almost unnoticed. God often speaks, not through loud proclamations, but through subtle signs, a pause in conversation, a repeated number, a feeling that tugs at the heart. These nudges are gentle yet persistent, guiding the attentive toward insight and away from paths that may lead to imbalance. Shaolin wisdom teaches that energy and intention leave traces in the world around us. A thought focused with clarity, a decision made with sincerity, a movement executed with awareness, each carries a vibration that interacts with the world. When observed closely, patterns emerge, the right opportunity appears at the right time, repeated obstacles signal areas needing attention, and synchronicities hint at alignment with a higher current. Learning to see these patterns requires patience and subtle observation, a skill honed through mindful practice. Trusting intuition is the bridge between perception and action. The body, mind, and spirit are constantly receiving information beyond the conscious mind. A fleeting sensation, a quiet instinct, or a sudden insight can indicate guidance if one remains still enough to recognize it. Dismissing these signals as coincidence or imagination weakens connection, while honoring them strengthens clarity and discernment. Inner mastery begins with attention to the small details of life. Observing the rhythm of one's own thoughts and feelings, noticing recurring events, and pausing to reflect on subtle cues cultivates sensitivity to higher guidance. Discipline in self-awareness allows these signs to be seen, not as random, but as part of an intricate pattern of alignment. Through consistent practice, the quiet whispers of God become easier to recognize. The world, once chaotic and overwhelming, begins to reveal its hidden messages. What once felt coincidental now appears intentional. Life becomes a dialogue, a continuous exchange where intuition, awareness, and mindful observation illuminate the path forward. Every challenge carries a lesson, every obstacle a hidden message. Life often presents resistance not to punish, but to reveal what lies beneath the surface of character. These moments are invitations, tests of growth that ask us to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity rather than reaction. In their quiet way, they point toward the strengths we have yet to fully recognize within ourselves. From a Shaolin perspective, resistance is a teacher, a stance held against force, a movement repeated until it becomes instinct. These are exercises in patience, focus, and endurance. The same principle applies to life's trials. Difficulties test the mind and spirit, shaping them with each encounter. What feels heavy or uncomfortable is not an enemy, but a mirror showing where inner strength has yet to awaken. Discomfort often uncovers hidden capacities. A moment of tension may reveal courage previously untapped. A setback can illuminate resourcefulness and resilience. Shaolin masters teach that true power is not avoidance but presence, facing challenges fully, without distraction or fear. By engaging obstacles consciously, one learns to move with intention, adapt with grace, and transform difficulty into wisdom. The path of mastery is not free from struggle. It is defined by it. Each test is a step in refining the mind, disciplining the body, and opening the spirit. Resistance, when approached with awareness, becomes a tool for growth rather than a barrier. Life's pressures reveal where alignment is strong and where it requires attention. Through this lens, adversity is no longer a threat, but a message. Every moment of tension or challenge is an opportunity to discover depth, sharpen perception, and cultivate resilience. The trials of life, once feared, become instruments of awakening, guiding the soul toward its highest potential and teaching mastery in the quiet, persistent way of the Shaolin path. Every message from the divine arrives as a crossroads, a subtle invitation to choose rather than a command to obey. Life rarely forces action. It presents moments where the direction of thought, word, and deed can shift the path ahead. Awareness of this power is the first step toward mastery, understanding that every choice carries weight, whether seen or unseen. Mindful decision-making begins with pause. In the space between stimulus and response, there is an opportunity to observe, reflect, and align with one's higher self. A deep breath, a moment of stillness, a question asked inwardly, these are the small acts that transform simple decisions into expressions of wisdom. Each choice becomes a reflection of intention, a chance to act with clarity rather than impulse. Shaolin practice teaches that deliberate action surpasses reaction. A strike thrown without thought can falter, while a measured, intentional movement channels the full force of focus and training. The same principle guides life beyond the dojo. When action is grounded in awareness, it carries precision, impact, and harmony. Reaction is temporary. Deliberate choice shapes lasting outcomes. The power of choice is both liberation and responsibility. It reminds the seeker that even in uncertainty, there is agency. Trusting intuition, weighing insight, and acting from alignment transform decisions into instruments of growth. Divine messages often test this discernment, offering guidance through options rather than directives. By cultivating awareness and patience, one learns to recognize the subtle cues that inform choices. The world becomes a map of possibilities, each moment a lesson in alignment and discernment. Life's greatest shifts do not come from force, but from conscious selection. Every decision, no matter how small, is an opportunity to strengthen the mind, refine the spirit, and live in harmony with the deeper currents that guide the soul. Energy flows where attention goes. Every thought entertained, every word absorbed, every emotion indulged shapes the field within. Left unchecked, distractions, negativity, and doubt can scatter this energy, leaving the mind restless and the spirit weary. Guarding it is not selfishness, it is a necessity for clarity, presence, and the capacity to perceive guidance that lies beyond ordinary perception. Shaolin masters understood that the body and mind are vessels of energy, and that cultivating it requires both awareness and discipline. Practices such as focused breathing, meditation, and intentional movement are not merely physical exercises. They train the practitioner to sense subtle currents, to recognize when energy is being pulled outward, and to redirect it inward. A mind attuned to its own flow becomes a vessel for insight, able to detect the quiet nudges of the divine amidst the noise of the world. Protecting one's energy amplifies spiritual receptivity. When the mind is cluttered or the heart weighed down by negativity, even profound messages can pass unnoticed. By creating boundaries around thought, emotion, and attention, one creates space for higher guidance to enter. This is not avoidance, it is preparation, a deliberate shaping of the inner landscape so that clarity, intuition, and alignment can flourish. Inner mastery begins with this vigilance, observing where energy leaks, understanding the forces that drain focus, and taking conscious steps to restore balance. Our practices repeated daily. Over time, the mind grows steady, the spirit resilient, and the body aligned with intention. Life moves with greater ease, decisions gain precision, and subtle truths become visible. Through this cultivation, energy becomes both shield and compass. Guarded and refined, it allows one to move through the world without being scattered by its chaos, and to receive guidance with openness, discernment, and a quiet confidence born from disciplined inner awareness. Life moves swiftly, yet beneath the surface, a quiet current pulls toward meaning. Divine urgency is rarely about noise or haste. It calls attention to the deeper question, am I living with purpose? Each day presents choices that either scatter energy or concentrate it toward a goal aligned with the highest self. Awareness of this calling is the beginning of intentional living. Shaolin wisdom teaches that clarity of intention is the compass of life. Every action carries energy, and energy directed without focus dissipates. When the mind, body, and spirit converge on a clear purpose, every gesture, thought, and decision becomes a thread weaving the fabric of destiny. Purpose is not abstract. It manifests in disciplined practice, in decisions made consciously, and in the careful alignment of effort with inner truth. Living intentionally requires reflection. Pause to ask, is this action in harmony with my highest path? Even small choices accumulate, shaping the rhythm of days, the quality of relationships, and the trajectory of growth. Purpose is felt, not imposed. It arises from the inner alignment of values, insight, and awareness. When attention meets intention, life becomes a deliberate unfolding, a journey guided by insight rather than distraction. The Shaolin path shows that mastery is cultivated through conscious repetition, through acts infused with clarity and attention. A step taken with intention strengthens focus. A breath observed with awareness grounds presence, and a decision aligned with purpose reinforces connection to the divine current guiding all life. To live with purpose is to move through each day aware of the unseen patterns, attuned to the flow of energy, and committed to choices that reflect one's highest potential. It is not perfection that matters, but alignment. Ask quietly, persistently, am I acting from my highest self? In this inquiry, every action becomes meaningful, and life itself transforms into a practice of deliberate, conscious, and deeply aligned living. Wisdom becomes alive only when it is practiced, not merely contemplated. The lessons of awareness, discipline, alignment, and intention gain depth when woven into the rhythm of daily life. Meditation, reflection, and conscious action are the threads that connect insight with experience, transforming fleeting understanding into living mastery. Shaolin masters teach that true mastery is not found in theory or books. It is forged in the repetition of mindful deeds, in the patience of observation, and in the consistent cultivation of energy and focus. Sitting in meditation each morning, even for a few minutes, trains the mind to notice subtle currents. Reflecting on decisions and actions brings clarity to intentions, revealing where alignment succeeds and where it falters. Conscious action ensures that every movement, word, and choice carries purpose and integrity. Integration requires awareness of the ordinary as sacred. Daily routines, walking, eating, working, speaking, become opportunities to practice stillness, alignment, and discipline. Even challenges or discomforts serve as reminders to return to focus, to test patience, and to refine presence. Over time, these small practices compound, creating a mind attuned to subtle signals, a body capable of disciplined effort, and a spirit aligned with higher guidance. Spiritual messages are meaningful only when they influence action. Insight without application remains a shadow, a potential unfulfilled. By embedding these principles into the fabric of life, each moment becomes a step toward self-mastery. Energy is preserved and directed, choices are deliberate, and obstacles are seen as lessons rather than setbacks. Daily practice transforms existence into a continuous dialogue between intention and action, between understanding and embodiment. The teachings of the Shaolin path are not distant ideals. They are lived experience, cultivated quietly, steadily, and persistently. In this integration, mastery ceases to be a goal and becomes the natural expression of a life lived with awareness, discipline, and purpose. God's message comes with weight and clarity because it calls for presence, discipline, and conscious alignment. It asks more than attention. It asks for participation in life with awareness, integrity, and purpose. To hear it, one must cultivate stillness. To understand it, one must act from clarity. And to respond, one must move with deliberate intention. The path of mastery is not revealed in a single moment. It unfolds quietly in the small, consistent choices made each day. Every breath observed, every decision aligned with higher purpose, every action taken with integrity becomes part of this living practice. Life itself becomes a teacher, guiding those who are attentive and willing to cultivate discipline and presence. By integrating awareness, reflection, and purposeful action into daily life, the subtle guidance of the divine becomes visible, accessible, and meaningful. Challenges transform into lessons, energy is preserved and directed, and the mind, body, and spirit move in harmony. Remember, mastery is a journey, not a destination. It is built slowly, patiently, and persistently in every thoughtful choice and every moment of conscious living. Let this understanding shape your days and guide your path with clarity and calm. If this message resonates, take it into your life and allow it to guide your actions. For more teachings, reflections, and practices rooted in ancient wisdom, like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, where the journey of awareness, discipline, and self-mastery continues every day.